welcome back to Smashing Heads Podcast. This is our recap for Ride or Die episode 4. My name is Zach, and I'm joined by my wife, Hannah.
Hey, what's up?
Couple of housekeeping things, top of the show.
We don't have a housekeeper.
One, this episode's very late. It is what it is. There's a lot of things happening. My parents just came into town. There's a lot of stuff with Hannah's work, and I was sick a little bit, and so it's very late, and so we're getting it out here. Better late
than never.
Yeah. Two, it has been brought to my attention, and I don't think you've realized this either. I purposefully said it incorrectly on the open. This
it's rides or dies.
It's not. No. It's ride or dies.
So I keep my notes for each episode in one actual note. In my phone.
Yeah.
So, especially like when we're doing 2 seasons at once. That way I can just click like, oh, this is All Stars 4, and so I just scroll down to episode 10.
Yet.
But example, I do not have the actual title of this season. It is literally labeled Best Friends because that's what this season is. It's a best friend season.
So to me, the challenge Ride or Die makes more sense than the challenge Ride or Dies. I get why they're saying it because they're like, oh, it's their Ride or Dies. But I have 100% mislabeled everything so far. And it hasn't even stuck out to me until in our Patreon Slack, someone's like, hey, do you guys realize that it's this? And I was like, absolutely did not at all. And so I'm going to go.
It's funnier if you did, but.
I'm going to go back and fix it just retroactively. But he was just like, I just wanted to know, is like, so in case people are searching and can't find it. And I was like, honestly, I don't think not having the S is going to make people not find it. As if you look for the challenge Ride or Die, it would be basically the same Google results or YouTube results as Ride or Dies.
Dude, test it.
I don't want to.
Well, then you can't prove that it would still show up.
I am going to fix it going forward, but I 100% did not know that it was Ride or Dies. Because
I swear, like a couple weeks ago, I think it was like when we were going over episode 2, you specifically made a point where you were going to only call it Ride or Die because you thought Ride or Dies just didn't sound right. Was dumb.
I don't think so because all of the like graphic work and stuff that I've done and all the like labeling on the metadata of the podcast it says Ride or Die, and I did not do that out of spite. I think maybe you knew what it was and you thought that that's why I was doing it and he didn't say anything, but that's not what was happening. It's just, it's like when last season when it was Spies, Lies, and Allies or whatever, they didn't use the second comma, and I was like, that's very annoying, and so I always put the extra comma in there. The Oxford comma, because
I love a good Oxford comma.
It's just dumb.
They're supposed to be there.
Yeah, it's dumb to not have it in there. So whoever's naming these seasons,
get your grammar right.
Yeah, it's just, you should let us name them instead. So, anyway, that's the one thing. Speaking of All Stars 4, weirdly out of nowhere, Coral just appeared on Twitter again in the midst of Twitter melting down, and who knows what's going to happen to it. Coral was
Is Coral gonna be on season 4?
Well, she just like she hasn't tweeted in forever, and she was just like, "Hey, I'm hearing you guys are telling me that I should be doing this new show. Maybe I should, and whatever." And I was like, if they get Coral back for All Stars 4, I was like, that's someone who I never thought would come back to the show.
Yeah,
like that's a big thing. But apparently, she's been known to like tease coming back or whatever. But I do think the All Stars format clearly works for people who have busier lives, and the money's much better and the amenities are better and all that. So we'll see. All Stars 4, I'm assuming something will be announced soon-ish.
You think pre-Christmas?
I don't know. I know that there's been calls going out for it.
Okay.
I'm not going to say much more beyond that, except that
I don't like to be spoiled.
Kyle Christie was on an Instagram Live, and he was just videoing, and he was with Wes and Jordyn and some other people. And in the Instagram Live, someone on speakerphone talking to Wes and Jordyn was like, "Yeah, it's for All Stars 4." and that probably wasn't supposed to be on anything. But Kyle's a wild card. I do miss Kyle.
I miss Kyle a lot.
Yeah, I know he's got family now, so that's probably why we haven't seen him. Was he on the last season?
Yeah, because he was playing for baby Christy.
That's right. I mean, I guess it hasn't been that long. It's just doing All-Stars and USA and all that. It feels like it's been a long time since.
I mean, it kind of has been a long time. We had 2 All-Star seasons after the previous main show.
Is it true?
Yeah.
Wait. I don't know if
yes.
that's... I don't think that's...
Look it up.
We've had 2 All-Star seasons since Spies, Lies, and Allies.
Yes.
I don't know about that one. Let me look at
If
this.
I'm wrong, then oh well. You can't do anything to me. I'm almost positive we had 2.
Oh, okay, so here's what's... It kind of. All-Stars 2 aired kind of concurrently with Spies, Lies, and Allies.
Yes. They were on it like the same time.
And it All-Stars 2 went like a couple weeks longer than Spies, Lies, and Allies. They like Spies, Lies, and Allies started first, then All-Stars happened in the middle of it, and then went a little bit beyond it, and then All-Stars 3 did happen on its own. So I guess
technically we did have we had Spies, Lies, and Allies, then All-Stars 2 and 3.
I guess I didn't think that we had 2 separate standalone that happened post, but it kind of happened in the middle. And anyway, so for this episode 4 of Ride or Dies,
Best Friends.
We get Jarrell and Veronica coming
Shorty
in.
V.
Shorty V. I mean, she is very short. Her name starts with a V. Not the most creative nickname.
But it's there.
So I guess I didn't realize, I don't remember if Veronica said it or if someone said it about her. I think she said it, but that she's tied the most female wins and
that was
has
TJ.
won the most dailies
Yeah.
for a female.
When Darrell and Veronica came out, TJ was giving the house their introductions,
Yeah.
and he's like, Darrell is the only challenge competitor to win four finals in a row,
Yeah.
and Veronica is the female tied for most final wins and daily wins.
And I'm pretty sure the season that Darrell came back after his 4th win was Fresh Meat 2, and he was
with Car Maria.
with Car Maria, and they went
out
home
first.
Yeah. And what a way to go out. So
Veronica says they're going to try to get through Darrell's Fear of Heights together this season.
yeah.
Do you think it'll ever happen?
No, and I don't. I was watching some. Oh, we were watching Yes Theory. That's what it was. YouTube channel. I know I plugged a YouTube channel a couple weeks ago, or just a guy, Tom Cardy. He's not really known for YouTube, but just making weird songs. But honestly, a YouTube channel that we watch a pretty good amount is Yes Theory.
I love Yes Theory.
I really do like. One, they just travel all over and do kind of crazy stuff, but I do like their
sense of adventure.
One, this just their perspective on things as far as like the main gist of a lot of their travel stuff is to say like, hey, no matter where you go in the world, you can find like-minded. Like, we're not as different as what everyone acts like we are. Like, when you get down to really sit down and know someone, like, they're just normal people living their lives like you would be too. And so I really do like they do crazy stuff where they like visit like abandoned places and ride like a train through the Sahara Desert overnight, and just crazy stuff like that. But they also do a lot of like really cool, like just more humanitarian style stuff as well. But it's a good YouTube channel. Yes Theory. Their whole thing is basically to just say yes to stuff that kind of scares you and to seek discomfort. That's their brand.
But like the main guy on the channel, like I don't know how often he brings it up, but
he's Fear of Heights.
I have heard him discuss it. He has like a serious fear of heights, and they travel all over the world and climb mountains.
Yeah,
and
like do crazy stuff.
Rock climb off of cliffs to get honey from honeybees, and like all kinds of stuff. And he talks about how he has to do like a 5-minute mindfulness session to ground himself to help him overcome his fear of heights. But it is something that he still struggles with.
Yeah, even though like for a living, he just does stuff that puts him out of his comfort zone. Like a fear of heights to me is one of the more just like natural fears because it's like purely survival based.
Heights are unnatural.
Yeah.
Like
now you have a crazy aversion. Like you don't like coming off the floor like 6 inches.
I don't. That's why I don't jump.
But like, you know, I'm better. I can do some height stuff. I don't like it. I get a really weird tingly feeling like looking around at stuff. It does bother me a little bit. You can feel it in your testicles.
Shh. You're not supposed to say that.
No,
I bring that up because it is well documented that Darrell has a very serious fear of heights, and I very much identify with that. But like it's a thing that he hates heights, and a lot of these dailies involve heights, like being dangled over the ocean or hanging off the side of a skyscraper. And the fact that he's been doing this for as many years as he has, he still struggles with a fear of heights. So I just
including like quitting in All Stars in a couple
exactly
things.
Yeah. So
like in the dailies.
I wasn't asking like, do you think it's really gonna happen? Like, I didn't mean to say that like any type of way. I'm asking like, do you think that that's something that can ever really happen? Do you think you can ever fully overcome a fear of heights when it's that serious?
I think you can. I don't know if you fully overcome it because, again, I think it's like it's a subconscious like survival thing. You're like, oh no, this is bad for me as a human.
Mm-hmm.
I do think you can like inoculate yourself to it to an extent.
I mean, Darrell's been trying to inoculate himself for
how many years?
He's
also quit a handful of it.
Yeah.
Like, so I mean that's like I don't think it's easy at all, and I don't know. I would have to. It'd be hard for me to like really speak on it without being put in those situations over time and to like know how your mind sets up. Because some people are just all for it all the time, no matter what. The tiny team, Tommy and Idallys, they're upset after
they have no reason to be upset.
Yeah, they're upset and they want to talk to Olivia and Horacio, and they do not really want to talk to them because they're like, you completely screwed us over.
Exactly. And Horacio wasn't even there.
Yeah,
they tried talking to Olivia and they're like, oh, we really want Horacio to be here.
But she's kind of the mouthpiece for the group.
Yeah, but he goes and talks about it with Laurel.
Yeah.
But so Tommy and Idallys are trying to apologize and say they didn't go about it right. And I'm like, go about it right. You just come like there's no.
It's 100% their fault.
Yeah, there's not really a right way to do that.
They willingly double crossed two different teams, and it got thrown in their face.
Exactly.
It kept them safe for one more week. But
they were caught red-handed, and so Olivia basically calls them out, and she's like, "We're not gonna have your back anymore, regardless."
It would even be different if both of the other teams approached them, and like Kim and Colleen came to them and said, "Hey, would you guys want to work a deal?"
Exactly.
And then Horacio and Olivia are like, "Hey." Then I could be like, you know what? They were put in a weird situation, and they just. Whatever.
You don't want to say no, but
they went to both of these teams.
They sought them out.
Yeah, they set all this up themselves. So Laurel and Horacio have a like spy camera hugging session where she just can't keep touching him.
Can't quit touching him.
Can't quit touching him. Can't keep her hands off of him is what I think I was going to say.
There are sometimes people that you can't keep touching.
Like?
Sometimes I just can't keep touching you.
Like lepers.
Yeah. Or if you don't have any hands or feet, how do you touch?
That's not how that works. You can touch without hands or feet.
Can you?
Yeah. Absolutely. What are you talking about? Yes.
I wouldn't know. I don't not have hands and feet, so I don't know. Don't know what that's like.
After the Laurel and Horacio thing, we get a confessional with Chauncey, which may be the only time he's talked this whole season, as far as I
keep forgetting he's here.
He said he thinks that Amber B is the leader of the rookies, which I guess she's just Amber on this season.
That was my only note on that.
This is her third season.
I know. He said it's because she's at the bottom of the vets list, bottom of their totem pole, which is true. But still, I mean.
But even like Jeyyy and Michelle are acting like they're rookies too, and this is Jeyy's third season.
I know.
It's a weird dynamic. Like, I don't know. I mean, they're definitely not like the classic like veterans. But
they're still in high school.
I mean, Amber B won a final. To be fair, she was partnered with CT, and she basically just had to run.
Yeah.
But she did complete it and like outran everyone.
But also, like, she was one of the people that was really excited to see Darrell because that was somebody that she worked with in the past.
Darrell's not gonna
He's not gonna go out of his way to protect her.
Darrell's whole thing is to try to just lay low and make it to the final.
Exactly.
There's no way he's gonna stick his neck out for Amber B when no one cares.
But going back to that, that's someone that she's excited to see because she's worked with in the past. So why is she roping herself in with the rookies?
I don't know.
And I don't know. I don't know that she really is the leader of the rookies, or Chauncey's just saying that.
I don't even know why they showed that confessional because it literally had nothing to do with anything else that happened the rest of the episode.
They showed, so he said that, and then like they showed like a cutscene of her talking to some rookies, but I don't think it was Tommy and Idallys. Was it?
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea. Also, why did you just assume it was with Tommy and Idallys?
Because they were the rookies that were the central focal point of the episode.
But I don't agree with that necessarily because I mean, like Horacio and Olivia were a pretty big part.
Yeah.
And but we go next to like a little bonfire thing outside, and
it's the fire pit thankfulness time.
Yeah. I think Jack was the one who started. Hey guys, what are you thankful for? Whatever. The only thing I have from there is that Fessel and Colleen kind of like get close, and then he carries her back to her bed, who they wake Kim up
to let them in the room.
And then we get just a montage of just people in bed together.
So fire pit thankfulness time made everybody thankful that they were in a big house with each other.
But not everyone was out there.
But the people that were there all ended up sleeping together.
Well, yeah. So Fessel and Colleen for sure, and there was something happening under those covers.
It looks like Kim was watching them, which freaked me out.
If you come in my room and you're going to do that, you deserve to be watched.
I don't think they cared though.
And then you had Jordyn and Tori in bed together, but her quote was that it was not sexy.
I mean, they're ex-fiancés. I could see that just being like for comfort.
It could be, but also, putting yourself back in those familiar situations that could lead to something.
It could.
I don't know. We don't know what happens the rest of the season. And then you have Olivia and Nelson.
Nelson came back with the I love love and love loves me.
Yeah, he's already said that.
That's got to be like his favorite quote for this season.
So yeah, that's for a couple seasons in a row, we didn't really have any like hookups or anything, and then all of a sudden it's like bonfire night. Everyone is ready to go.
I think because the last few seasons that we've had, there's not been a ton of single people.
I told you that Nehemiah tweeted out that.
Oh yeah.
Hey, can we get some of these ladies from the main show that are single onto All Stars?
Because he was like
the only single person on All Stars.
he was like the only single person.
And this is overall, this is a very attractive cast all around.
Yeah.
There's obviously swings higher for some and lower for others, but it's
like a pendulum.
Yeah, it's if you're on All Stars, if you see this cast and you're just a single guy, but I would love for these people to be around me. So we get to the daily. It's called "Hold On For Me," 300 feet in the air. Basically, you're like just holding yourself. One person's holding themselves up, and then the other teammate has to run and jump, and use that momentum to swing them into a flag, which is honestly really far behind them.
Yeah, it was. So from the angle that they showed most of the time, it looked like it was directly behind them. And then once you actually saw it like head on, it was a pretty good distance.
Yeah, you had to have a good swing.
I liked the Darrell quote from the very beginning.
Oh, I don't have that.
TJ wants to see if I'm really about that life. Yeah. About the heights.
He handled it well. I mean,
did.
Other than
as soon as they got up there.
They should not have had Veronica be the jumper.
Yeah. But like, I don't know. I don't know that Darrell would have been able to.
That's the thing. That's the only thing I could think of is that like he might just freak out and not jump.
Yeah. Or freak out like mid jump and not even make it.
Because he can kind of close his eyes and slowly take himself up.
Yeah.
And having to consciously run and jump and.
I think that would be a lot harder for him.
But strategically, that was the move for him to do it.
But I mean, they strapped him in, and like they showed him before the horn blew.
Yeah.
And his whole body was shaking. You could see him shaking. I probably would have started crying. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, the main thing is not just collecting the flag. It's also who holds on the longest and then collects the flag. So, but for the most part, didn't even matter. Everyone, Laurel and Jack, DQ. Casey and Kenny, DQ. Veronica and Darrell, DQ. Awful jump. Nany and Bananas, DQ. Michelle and Jeyyy, DQ. Amber and Chauncey, DQ. Jordyn gets to be Tom Cruise. That's my next note on that, is that he said he wants to be Tom Cruise.
Well, he said, I get to be Tom Cruise today.
Which I believe we talked about in the last episode about Tom Cruise for a long time.
No thanks.
Me and Jordyn are on the same page. Then Jordyn and Aneesa do get their flag, which is insane because Jordyn holds on to Aneesa with the arm that is missing the hand, and then grabs the flag with the other hand, which is just crazy because no one had done it at this point. Like, of course, Jordyn's going to do it. Then Tori and Devin DQ, Fessel and Mariah DQ, Tommy and Annalise DQ. Of course, they DQ'd. Colleen and Kim DQ. They try to do like a momentum swing though, to where he gets going, but they just timed it all wrong.
Good idea, bad execution.
And then Nelson and Nurys get it, but then Horacio and Olivia DQ. And I actually knew before we watched this who won the daily because I saw people freaking out over it. Rightfully so. Nelson and Nurys win after Nelson has lost 54 consecutive dailies.
When they announced that he won, I was yelling.
Let's go. Just, I mean,
that's my boy Nelly T.
I think Tori had the best quote in regards to it. She said, "That's really impressive." Then she goes, "Well, not impressive, important." And I was like, "That very much something. It's not impressive because he could have probably, you could have put anyone out there and just the odds of you not winning for 54 times is crazy."
Yeah, it's almost like
especially for someone who's like a really good athlete and in good shape. It's not like he's like winded and behind. Like he just,
and it's not like he's bad at the dailies. He's
bad. He's unequivocally bad at the dailies.
It's just,
you don't lose 54 in a row.
It's just so wild to me. It's almost like you have to try to lose to not win 54 dailies.
He's I think he's good at eliminations. He is very historically bad at dailies.
I freaking love Nelson. He's one of my favorite people.
He said, "I feel like the president."
Yeah,
I'm not sure exactly what.
I have all kinds of quotes from this daily. Starting off, Veronica, like you have to let go of the barf when you're You have to let go of the bar when your partner comes to jump at you, and so Veronica was a little worried. She thought Darrell was so scared he would never let go of the bar.
Yeah, Michelle
was going to just look into Jay's beautiful eyes. We found out Chauncey also hates heights.
Yeah.
So good to know. Darrell's not alone. Bananas says that he and Nany share the same brain.
Okay.
Nurys was the one that figured out forward momentum. You need the guy to be the one to jump.
You need the one with the
heavier.
most weight to push. Yeah. Because imagine like if you had something that weighs 200 pounds and you're trying to run and move it, or something that weighs
100 pounds.
Yeah, well, not quite, but yeah, and then something twice as large now gets to try to move that. Like, yeah, that makes the most sense.
Jordyn gets to be Tom Cruise today. Alyssa does not call him Tom Cruise. She calls him Superman. And
Tom Cruise is basically Superman.
No.
He's
Can't
as close to
stand
real
Tom
life
Cruise.
as Superman.
He's awful. I think Superman was a good name to call Jordyn after looking at how he performed. Because I wrote, of course, all caps, they're the first and, quote, maybe only. This was before Nelson and Nurys, maybe the only ones to get the flag.
And, like, it's a good thing that, like, the time at that point didn't matter. Because as soon as it started, Anissa's like, oh, you gotta go.
Yeah.
And he had to jump really early. But I mean, they got the flag, and so, but they that was the difference was Nurys was able to just hold on longer.
Yeah. Well, Jordyn jumped, held on with one not hand, and got the flag.
Yeah.
Tommy, quote, everyone in the house sees us as liars, sad face. My response, because you are, Tommy.
Do you have a feeling, like, I don't really think this, but Jordyn's confessionals are a little, like, dialed up this season compared to typical seasons.
What do you mean by dialed up?
He seems more animated. And this is not an accusation or anything, but when we were watching this, I was like, it almost is like he's just done a lot of cocaine before they've done these confessionals. I don't really think that's what's happened, but he is way more animated than normal, and he's like almost like a character of himself. And he's like, I'm Tom Cruise, and it's like, all right, man. Because Jordyn,
I think it could also be because his ex-fiance is on this show. He's living in a house with her, and they've not seen each other for a year and a half.
You know what I think it is for real?
What?
I think typically on seasons he's very focused, and he's like, I'm really trying to win.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
I think he's like, I have no chance to win this season, so I'm just gonna get wild. And if I succeed at anything, it's
gonna be even wilder.
Yeah, and so
Jordyn is here to have fun this season.
I do think
I love it. And he's still even if he is just in the mindset of, hey, let's get buck wild and have fun, he's still killing it.
Yeah, he's gonna be
like
one of the hardest people
Jordyn
to
is
get
one of the best competitors that this show has ever seen. So I love that. Nelson gets the flag. Super excited about that. Jordyn, Alyssa, Nelson, and Nurys, the only two teams to finish. All the rest, all caps. Nelson broke the streak. And then back in the house, he has several quotes, one after the other. But the two that I got were, "This is a different feeling for me. I feel like the president."
Yeah.
Talking about like having all this power. I was like, okay.
Well, after that, Nurys said she wants to put in 2 vets, and Nelson was like, no, that's a bad idea.
Well, he explained it to her really well. He was like, there's more fire that will come back on us if we throw in the vets.
Yeah, it's not worth it. Because it's just a bad move at this point.
And on top of that, he reflects on when he first came to this show as the quote-unquote young bucks, gunning for the big dogs as a rookie.
Well, him and Amanda came in middle of a season hot and like they were like,
hot and ready.
You guys, I'm gonna like they did not make a good first impression.
But the first couple seasons, Nelson, Corey, and Hunter, they were like, hey, we're rookies, we're the young guys.
Never succeeded, by the way.
We're coming straight for bananas every single time. We're going after the big dogs, the big vets. And it came back to bite them in the butt for several seasons until like more rookies started coming in and doing their own thing.
Yeah, it didn't work the way they thought it was going to.
That's the thing. Nelson's trying to explain, like, hey, I did that and it did not work.
Yeah, and he also had a built-in group of like alliance like with him that was strong, and that's not really how it's working here. So in the night out, Nelson just says he's confused about what to do with Olivia and Horacio, and then Olivia comes up with the plan to put them in the draw, essentially.
To pretend that they aren't working together.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. The only thing is you have to know for a fact that you can convince the other 2 teams that you're not going to pick to for sure go in to pick Olivia and Horacio and like trust their word on it. So like they picked Darrell and Veronica just because they don't have any ties to anybody really. They came in late.
They just got there.
Yeah, and then they pick
Tommy and Annalise.
Yeah, that's obvious. And then Kim and Colleen, And then they just have to convince Kim and Colleen and Jarrell and Veronica that no matter what, you guys will pick Horacio and Olivia if you guys get the safe dagger. The only thing I said to you was Veronica's the type of person who, if there's a loophole to exploit in that she, if it benefits her, she would do it. Mm-hmm. And it didn't come down to that. And I think Veronica and Jarrell both, realize that like they're coming in late. It wouldn't be necessarily a great time to do that. But
also, I'm sure by this point, Jarrell and Veronica have at least heard that Olivia and Horacio are pretty good competitors. So in the deliberations, which I'm jumping ahead just a bit, Nelson basically tells the other teams, not Tommy and Annalise, tells the other teams
that's in the interrogation. The deliberation is where they just talk about what teams they're going to pick.
I have all of those in the same note. Nelson basically tells the other teams, hey, it's going to be Tommy and Annalise. Yeah. So if Veronica were contemplating double crossing them, if she did, Olivia and Horacio have a good chance of winning that elimination and coming back.
Yeah. Oh, they would have beat them in this.
So it would be detrimental to go against that promise with Nelson and do that because
it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't make sense, and there's no benefit there. And so I really think that's why Veronica didn't.
Yeah, because basically they're like, "Hey, you're guaranteed. We're not going to pick you as the main one, and you got basically a 66% chance to not go in on the other three because there would always be a chance that like Horacio and Olivia get picked by Kim and Colleen or whatever, then Jarrell and Veronica would have to go in. Basically Tommy and Annalise in the interrogation, they just kind of grovel and then that's when they kind of cut and Nelson and Nerese make the deals with Kim and Colleen and Jarrell and Veronica. And we get to the elimination.
Well, before the elimination, I have a couple more notes, specifically one that I hope Jake either listens to this or has watched the episode.
I'd put my money on neither at this point.
In the one before the deliberation, because this whole like throwing in Horacio and Olivia was Olivia's idea.
Yes.
And she was like super, just absolutely 100% certain that they weren't going to go in no matter what. And Horacio actually says in a confessional, never trust when you feel safe in this house. And I really felt like that was like foreshadowing because production has done edits
I
like that before.
That's the right mindset.
But
even
a
sure thing
is never really sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially this is a game for life-changing money. Nothing is ever certain.
Well, and especially someone like a vet team like Veronica and Darrell, like if they sense that there's something that can benefit them, who cares?
Nelson, as soon as they get into deliberation, Nelson calls himself daddy.
I didn't catch that.
He was talking about Olivia. He's like, she's got to come back home to daddy.
I do remember that.
I wrote, I bet Jake loved that, and I put the little barf emoji.
I do remember that.
He calls himself daddy to his dog.
Yeah, there's a comedian, Kurt Braunholer, who just came out with a new special that I haven't watched yet, but like the big preview from it was he has a 2-year-old daughter, and he's like, my daughter is going to call me Papa as we grow up. He's like, because as a society, we've all ruined the term daddy. And he's like, that's not happening. And
well, I call my father daddy because that's just, I always call it like, that's what I learned to call him was daddy. But he called his dad daddy, even like on his deathbed.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe it's a Southern thing.
No,
but he like Jeff will always be daddy.
Yeah, but again, like that was established before.
It was. I don't know why people have to ruin that term, but whatever. Nelson.
Every time I try to start saying something, you just jump in with something else.
Well, say something because I have more notes on this deliberation and interrogation.
There's literally no need to talk about any more deliberation or interrogation.
No, I was just going to say with Annalise and Tommy, Nelson told them that they went about it the wrong way, and what they should have done is just owned up to their choice instead of making excuses, which is a good point, but I still don't think that there was a right way to answer that. they went out of their way to double cross people. So I don't think, even if they did own up to it and not make excuses, I still think that everyone in the house would have been mad at them and gunning for them. So I don't think it really would have made a difference, even though Nelson was trying to help them. But after he said that, Tommy was like, so what are you thinking? And Nelson just said, good luck tonight.
Yeah, again, we get to the elimination. They picked Tommy and Idallys. Everyone knew that was happening. They knew it was probably happening. And then they do the draw, and Olivia and Horacio get the safe dagger. And instead of picking the other rookie team, Kim and Colleen, they pick Jarrell and Veronica, which I do think is the right move. Because Kim and Colleen are kind of outliers, and if they get upset at you, they haven't really proven that they're going to be a force in this thing. Jarrell and Veronica have both won.
Yeah.
And even though they're older, still that carries weight. And
they have this street cred.
Yeah. And so then we get a flashback though, where Veronica went and politicked and talked with Olivia and them before all this stuff and kind of worked out a deal on their own.
This is what Veronica is best at.
Yeah.
She's good at it and she knows what she's doing. She has a reputation for politicking, and she somehow usually gets it to work out for herself. But Jordyn, after this, calls a confessional Nelson might be a mastermind.
Again, high on cocaine.
What? Who would ever say that?
If you're high on cocaine, Jordyn.
That's wild.
Yeah, Nelson
That's a wild take.
Again, this is not. I'm not accusing. This is all a joke. I'm not. It's not libel or anything like that.
No, we love Jordyn. Jordyn's one of my favorite competitors in all of challenge history.
Kim and Colleen are the pick, and TJ is like, "How you guys feeling?" And Kim is just like, "It's like visiting grandma on Sunday." He's like, "You don't want to do it, but you got to do it." And the elimination is called Flipping Wasted, which
I don't understand what
exactly
that came from.
sure what that means in real, because typically they're kind of punny.
Yeah.
The puzzle was you rolled it. Maybe that's where they're getting flipping from.
It was like a triangle puzzle where you had to.
But you had to
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, basically one of the people lifts them up, and then the other person has to solve a puzzle as they're being held up. Kim and Colleen, no problem.
Colleen's little, Kim's big.
Yeah.
Tommy's little, Annalise is little.
Roughly the same size.
They are roughly the same size.
And he just could not. This was a sad elimination.
I had to look away a few times.
He was trying. It reminds me of what it legitimately reminds me of is when you have so say we have one of our nephews when they're little, 5, and so
Jackson,
they think that they can try to get to you and whatever, and you just put your hand on their forehead and hold them away, and no matter
you stiff arm them,
how hard they try, they just can't.
And Jackson will swing his arms around propel him.
Yeah,
and he just can't. He can't even get close to you.
That's Tommy.
Yeah,
yeah, and God is the one holding his head back.
No, stop.
So they just he never even gets her up to the puzzle.
He never really picks her up. She moves a little bit, but it's more like he's reverse waterboarding her in the mud.
It's so bad that at one point Kim looks over at him and he's like, "Clean your shoes. Come on, Tommy."
He starts giving him advice on how to pull the rope.
Yeah, and it's just oh man, that's never a good sign for you as a competitor.
But I mean, in the middle of this Devin confessional, he's got a good point. He said this is why you don't make double deals.
True. So Kim and Colleen win super easy.
I mean, Colleen struggled with the puzzle a little bit.
Yeah, because she was at the part where she was saying she thought it was done. We paused it and I was like, this and this clearly don't line up. So Tommy and Annalise, big tears. Yeah. Just crying a lot.
Well, Tommy walks over to Annalise and he's literally weeping.
Yeah. And
apologizing to her, but it's funny because she's still strapped to the board laying in the mud. And he's just standing there. He doesn't help her out.
I do agree with what TJ said to them. He says, when you cry when you lose, that shows that it means something to you. And he's like, I really appreciate that. You weren't just in here, like, you were trying your best. And, like, you never gave up. I will give him that.
He never gave up.
Because he very easily could have just, like, after 20 seconds, like, this is never going to happen. Mm-hmm. But he never gave up. And, you know, it was, you never know what the eliminations are going to be. And this was just one where he, honestly, Annalise might have been able to pick him up more than he would have been able to pick her up. But you know, it's part of it. And then TJ kind of teases about people coming in, and he's like, just kidding. There's no new pairs. So the first episode where we end, no new pairs for the season. So Gabriel and Veronica seemingly are the last additions, which is what we expected because we've seen everyone else on the cast photos.
Yeah.
So
what final thoughts?
You've never once had final thoughts when I've asked that.
I know, but I actually have, like, I wrote out final thoughts, :
Is it something that's necessary, or is it just like, hey, they shouldn't have made that double deal?
No, I actually have final thoughts. The one I wrote down was, aside from that one Big Sean song, all the music in this episode really sucked butt. Like, I hated all of it.
They did Love Shack by the B-52s, though.
I don't remember that, but they played
in
that.
the bonfire right when everyone was hooking up.
That's right.
They played Love Shack.
But a lot of the other music was not good this episode. I don't remember any of the songs. Was one with that, they played that weird, like, electronic pop song, and I was like, is this Fall Out Boy? And it said something else, and then it said featuring Fall Out Boy. Yeah. And it was like a DJ. It made me remember.
They did an Avicii song, too.
How bad Fall Out Boy is now. And I hate that Avicii song. That's one of my most detested songs.
The Brothers song?
Yeah, I hate that song more than
I kind of like it.
I hate that song more than most music on the planet. I think I hate that song more than I hate ska, and that's saying a lot.
Oh, that's because your brain is broken.
And then other final thought was right before the elimination when everybody came out of the house to see who Nelson and Nerys picked. Before that little deliberation. Darrell saw their name and he said, elimination don't put no fear in Darrell's heart. And he says he actually prefers an elimination over a daily because there's no cranes in eliminations.
True. Well, there has been a couple, but not anything like, because you're in an arena, so you can't go too high. So for who smashed some heads this episode?
Nelson smashed the daily losing streak. He finally won a daily after 54. It's important.
Yeah, it's important. It's not impressive. Like that's the takeaway. I'll give it to Nelson just for that reason. Because I mean, it's just been his daily record was basically what Tommy and Annalise were in the elimination up until this point.
His daily record was a talking point over seasons.
Yeah,
like
it's
for
crazy.
us, like we've talked about it for seasons.
Yeah, it's insane how you and like had good partners and stuff.
Yeah.
So who got their head smashed?
Tommy, not for the crying, no, for the fact that he did this to himself.
Because God was holding him back.
Because God was holding him back.
Yeah, I mean they 100% caused all this to themselves. Like it is funny that when they showed the daily replay where she grabbed at him and he just like flung his arms out like he was an angel instead of trying to grab at the flag.
I know.
That is fun. That is objectively funny. And it's been coming for like 2 episodes now. Like this is all on them. Like they saved themselves for one more day.
They were not playing the long game. They were playing the whatever is currently in front of me.
Yeah,
game.
They just panicked and like double. Because what was the last elimination with Horacio and Olivia? Oh, is that hall brawl thing? They wouldn't have won that hall brawl either.
Yeah, there is no way they would have won that.
Yeah,
double-decker hall brawl.
Here's the thing, though. I would say no, they wouldn't. But like. So the guys were on the bottom two out of the 3 rounds. Mm-hmm. Tommy's going to lose that to Johnny, right? He's not going to win that.
Yeah.
But it really does. It comes down to the girls. Annalise, for her credit, was a Division I soccer player, and Raven couldn't keep her shoes on. So it would have came down to the girls 2 out of the 3 rounds. And Annalise, I'm not saying she would have, but
if you put all your strength in those thighs and push with your body, push with your legs.
Soccer players, they're all leg muscles typically. Yeah. And like Raven couldn't stay in her shoes. Like there's a decent, I'd say at worst it's 50-50. Mm-hmm. That now Tommy's going to get destroyed by Johnny. Like there's just no way around that. But it really didn't matter because it just came down to the girls 2 out of 3 rounds. And so I don't know. But anyway, they just avoided that elimination to get put into this one, and they just had no chance. So I think, yeah, they're they got their head smashed. So for this week, randomize the letters. Again, we got K this week for movies. I have 3.
I have technically 5, but one of them I don't think I can say on here.
Why do you keep doing 5?
Because I didn't know how many you would have.
Well, we started with 1, and then you're like, hey, I've got a couple, so we did 3, and then last week you're like, hey, I got 5, and so I just added more Mission Impossible movies.
Well, I can narrow it down to 3.
Do 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want me to go first?
I'll go first.
No, I'll go first.
I'll go first. So my first one is Kicking and Screaming.
I did not have that one.
With Will Ferrell in 2004.
Okay, now it's my turn.
Okay.
So, for me, Kong Skull Island.
I almost did that, but I thought you would do it.
It's a great movie. It's just a really good movie.
It is a good movie.
It's Brie Larson and Tom Hiddleston and Samuel L. Jackson and what's his name? I just lost it. John C. Reilly. It's not Jack Black.
I know.
That is King Kong.
He's in King Kong.
With Peter Jackson. No, Kong Skull Island is just a great movie.
It is a great movie.
So yeah, that's mine. So what's your other one?
Knives Out.
Knives Out was probably my number 1.
The Chris Evans cream sweater.
It's just a good movie.
It is a great movie.
I actually just read an article last night about how there's been a big revival in murder mysteries. And
it's right up my alley.
Oh, and they're doing pretty well, like commercially, because we went and see how they run,
which is a great.
It
movie.
was good. I don't think it was like A+ or anything.
No,
but it was solid, like B.
It was way better than I thought it was going to be.
And again, it's just a murder mystery thing, and so
like murder mysteries. Like if I'm not reading sci-fi, I'm reading murder mysteries, and I love stuff like that.
Yeah, Knives Out's great. The second one comes out very soon. Mm-hmm. Glass Onion, a Knives Out.
Very excited about that.
It's the same detective, but then all the other characters are different. And so yeah, I'm excited about that. It is a Netflix movie, but it will be in theaters, and so I'm gonna go see it in theaters.
Yeah.
And so you're not allowed to come.
No, I'm going.
So yeah, that was probably my number 1 pick, just because it was so good and such like it was a new like property, and so you didn't really know what to expect, and it's Rian Johnson who actually did some of the newer Star Wars stuff.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's done a lot of cool. He's been on Doug Loves Movies a lot and stuff like that. But yeah, Knives Out is great if you haven't seen it.
So is that your pick also?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and say that because and then
it's good enough that I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I wondered if you would say this one, so I'm not sure. If it's also on your list, I'll give my other one.
I doubt. You want me to go mine first? Then?
No, I'll say it just in case you don't have it.
Okay.
Kingsman: The Secret Service.
I haven't seen any of the
first
Kingsman movies.
I went to see it in theaters with a group of my friends, including Jake's former roommate, No Talkie Seth.
Okay. I haven't seen.
His brother Brandon.
I have them all like on YouTube TV as like saved movies. I just haven't watched them yet. They're up my alley, but I just haven't watched them. They were like, oh, we need to go see this movie. I didn't know what it was. I just showed up to the theater, and like right off the bat, this is the first one. Like immediate, like kind of gory almost, a little like some graphic violence, and I wasn't prepared for that. Yeah. But it was a good movie. Speaking of that, we watched Inglourious Bastards for your first time like 4 or 5 days ago.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about that?
I had to look away several times.
It's got some graphic parts in it.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy that. But
it's a good movie though.
It was a good movie. I liked the sense of humor that was kind of sprinkled in.
Yeah. I haven't seen it since it originally came out, in like 2009 or whatever, so I wanted to watch it again.
It was a good story. Lots of great actors for those roles.
Yeah.
So
okay, that's an I though. But mine was Knocked Up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Not my favorite Judd Apatow movie, but I do really enjoy it because like on the surface it seems like it kind of like honestly like the 40-Year-Old Virgin, kind of like a lot of Judd Apatow movies. They seem like, oh, they're just this like, oh, it's just a raunchy comedy, and it's really not that. Like it's kind of got a little bit of those premises, but it's way more heart in it than what you would think. Like the 40-Year-Old Virgin sounds like, oh, it's just going to be a run of the mill dirty comedy or whatever, but
it's
really
not like
it's
that.
not. It's about Steve Carell and like how he's like
never been on a date.
Yeah, it's more about like the person and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's lonely and wants to have a family and
Knocked Up, similar, not quite the same, but again, I love that. That's the movie where I learned that you can get pink eye from farting on someone's pillow. Because it happens in that movie. Again, that whole era of like late 2000s where it was like Seth Rogen and Jason Segel and Paul Rudd and all these guys, like I loved all those movies. Like I Love You Man and Forgetting Sarah Marshall, and like I love all those. Forgetting Sarah Marshall, if that's an Apatow
that's probably your favorite.
That probably is my favorite one. That's such a good movie.
You talk about that movie all the time.
It's such a good movie from top to bottom. There's the Dracula puppets, and if we get F, Forgetting Sarah Marshall is going to be the #1 movie. Knocked Up. I do really like the movie. Katherine Heigl is likable, which is apparently something that she's not known for. Kind of notoriously hard to work with, it seems. But again, that's my pick. I didn't figure you'd pick that one either.
No.
What were your other ones? Because I don't have K was a hard one for me.
Kill Bill Volume 1.
I did not enjoy the Kill Bill movies when they came out. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not all in on Tarantino like some people are.
Yeah.
Like it's very hit or miss for me.
Well, I think I've seen bits and pieces of Volume 2.
Yeah.
But I know I've seen Volume 1. It was years ago, but I remember kind of liking it.
I probably should revisit it because I don't know, maybe it would be better now. It was like when it first came out.
Yeah. My other one was I was sure you would have it on your list.
What? I don't know what you're gonna say.
Well, I can't because this is a children's podcast.
What movie are you talking about?
Kick Ass. I can't say it because there's children that listen to this.
I don't know if I've ever actually seen that because there's two.
No
of them.
way.
There's two of them.
No, you've seen it. I know you have.
I don't think so.
It's not you of all people. It's not possible.
I don't
you
think so. I know Jim Carrey's in the second one.
I've seen it like 5 times.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen it. I'm aware of it. I just kind of like the Kingsman, like it's never.
But it seems like your type of movie.
Yeah, I get it. It's just I don't
believe that you've not seen it. I think you're just trying to pull one on me.
No, I haven't seen it, and I haven't seen the Totoro like animated movies because I know like Kiki's Delivery Service is supposed to be great. I almost
put that on my
haven't
list.
Seen it, so I'm not going to put something on the list that I haven't seen.
I debated putting that on my list. Because it's good.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of those Miyazaki movies.
I haven't seen it in like probably 15 years.
I've never seen any of them. So those are when we get HBO Max again, I'm gonna probably watch some of the Miyazaki animated stuff. So especially like my Neighbor Totoro and all those. So anyway, those are our picks. We'll be back with you. Even though my parents are in town for the first time visiting us out in Utah, we should be able to record Wednesday night if everything goes according to plan. And so we'll do that, and it'll be up then, and we'll go from there because we'll be busy kind of the rest of the week. So I didn't say at the top of the show, patreon.com/SmashingHeads podcast, at Smashing Heads on Twitter.
Like
I had something in my throat, and then I just was going to rush it out.
You sound like you couldn't breathe.
At Smashing Heads on Twitter, at Smashing Heads Podcast on Facebook and Instagram, and we'll be back with you in just 2 days.
Stay cute.
You forgot.